Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today, East meets West, sunrise, sunset, as MbL playing as the Japanese in orange prepares to take on Hera playing as the Sicilians in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Oink oink. Not a bad opportunity for us to take a look at the civilizations we will be watching today. Now, the Japanese, very much an infantry civilization. They have access to all infantry units with all barracks and blacksmith upgrades, and all of their infantry units do begin attacking 33% faster than normal, starting in the Feudal Age. This lightning fast attack, by the way, does benefit their unique unit, the Samurai, a medium infantry unit with a very fast attack and a massive attack bonus against other unique units. Now, to support their infantry on the field of battle, Japanese cavalry archers now come with a small attack bonus against archers. Their trebs can be upgraded to fire 33% faster and pack and unpack 4 times faster than normal, and their towers can be upgraded to fire 2 extra arrows. Now, to help save resources to pay for their military conquests, Japanese mills, lumber camps, and mining camps are all half price. Buy one, basically get one free. Now, let's take a look at the Sicilians on the other side of the map. Played in blue by Hera, a civilization whose strength derives and flows from their static defensive structures. If you take a look at the top right of your screen, you'll notice the Sicilians start the game with 100 extra stone, which is very helpful because they do build town centers twice as fast as normal and fortifications 50% faster than normal. And starting in the Feudal Age, they do have access to a unique structure that they can build called the Donjon. Think of the Donjon as a mini castle that gains HP and armor as the game goes on, and starting in the Castle Age does fire multiple arrows even when ungarrisoned. Now, donjons, like their sister structure, the Bulgarian Krepost, can also be used to train the Sicilians' unique unit. In this particular case, the Sergeant, a medium infantry unit with great base armor whose HP actually increases in Castle Age and is one of the only 2 unique units you can actually train in Feudal. By the way, you can use those very same sergeants that you train from your donjon to build and repair even more donjons. Now, unlike a Bulgarian Krepos, the donjon can also be used to train spearman line units and can also be used as a prerequisite to build stables and archery ranges. Now, if in the middle of the game, maybe in the later stages of the game, whenever you reach Castle Age, you do find yourself in need of a lot of military real quick, well, the Sicilians can call a First Crusade where each and every town center spawns 5 sergeants up to a maximum of 5 TCs, so maximum of 25 sergeants. Now, the sergeant is incredibly heavily armored, and to protect it on the battlefield as it slowly waddles across it, the Sicilians do have a few cool features. To start with, their knights, their cavaliers can be upgraded to get extra armor. All of their infantry, cavalry, and archer units do take 33% less bonus damage, which may be bad news bears if we ever get to see a samurai take on a sergeant. And last but not least, all of their units can be upgraded to become even more resistant to conversion. Now, to feed their big, hungry population, Sicilians have the most bountiful farms in the game. Whenever a farm upgrade is researched, it more than doubles the amount of food added to the farms. So if we're lucky enough to see this game go into Imperial, if we're lucky enough to see crop rotation being researched, a fully seeded Sicilian farm, over 1,000 food, which does free up wood because you do have to seed your farm less frequently. Those are the 2 civilizations, 2 fantastically powerful infantry civilizations with some pretty damn cool unique backup units. And not only just backup units, but also backup structures. I mean, how cool is the Donjon? But how cool is the Yasama Tower with multiple arrows? Speaking of arrows and fighting and castles and units and bloodshed, let's take a look at the attack path between the bases. Pretty much one big open space with a forest kind of, but not really, in the middle, and one relic right in the very center of the map. It looks like MbL with his scout has already discovered where Hera is. Hera, for his part, has not even gone beyond the original strudel shape that he's done circling his base. So a good time for us, as the players head up to the next age, to take a look at the bases themselves. Hera, primary gold and secondary stone, incredibly exposed in this big open clearing in front of his base. Primary stone, a little bit off the beaten path, but also not super duper safe. Extra gold to the back and extra gold to the front as well. So 4 out of Hera's 5 main resources are in this one rectangle with just a bit of extra gold to the back. Let's take a look at MbL. Gold also in the forward position. Primary stone also in the forward position. He's already begun walling off his gold. The stone, he says, you know what? May not need towers right now, so I'll leave the stone a little bit outside of my town center area. extra gold, extra stone to the rear, and also extra gold to the bottom of his base. Both of these bases, by the way, completely open. There is no coverage here whatsoever. Forests for our Japanese off to the side and back. Forests for our Sicilian off to the side and back as well. So I'm not too sure who's advantaged or more advantaged or disadvantaged. These both seem like very yucky base spawns, very open base spawns. And whereas our Sicilian, whose base is now getting discovered by Hera, who saw the palisade, is slowly getting walled off or walled in, or at least a bit of a funnel shape. Hera's risking it though. Is he going to go after? Nope. He is not going after the villager. He instead takes a poke from the villager. This may not be closed. I don't think this is closed here. MbL at least is walling his base in. Hera, kind of a similar funnel situation, walling right up to the edge of the town center's arrow fire radius, so that if MbL wants to engage, he's going to have to do so under risk of heavy fire. MbL, of course, doing the exact same thing. I'm curious if he's going to... Yeah, of course, he's going to wall this in, this one little alleyway. Okay, forget the funnel shape. Never mind. He's just going for a full-on wall-in, is our Japanese. So like I said, a very exciting matchup. I really am hoping we get to see Samurai take on Sergeants, just because Sergeants have become kind of the norm in Sicilian games. I mean, Cavaliers with Hauberk. Oh, he's already getting a donjon, is Hera. Both players 23 villagers, both players 3 military. Defensive spearmen, offensive cavalry unit. Generally with the Sicilians in the early to mid stage of the game, you do see a few sergeants here and there. The problem for MbL is if he does want to go samurai, he has walled himself out of his stone, pardon me. So we'll see whether or not that is the case. I always want to see samurais, although more realistically, when you're watching a game with the Japanese, generally it's cavalry archers. Generally, it's their halberdier line. The Japanese, by the way, in addition to being an incredible infantry civilization, they also have an absolute pristine archer line. They have every single archer upgrade in the game, non-unique, I should say. Although unique, remember, lately, the developers have added that +2 attack bonus against archer units, which I believe does not apply to skirmishers. So we'll see what we see in the Castle Age if Cav Archers, again, I suspect Cav Archers are probably going to be the name of the game. Although if that's the case, then the Sicilians have their Hauberk Cavaliers that can very much, with the extra armor that they get, +2 pierce armor in addition to the +1 melee. Oh, they can take a punch. They can take a real punch from a cavalry archer. So I'm very curious to see, or maybe we'll see some kind of tower attack from both players. Maybe we'll see donjons taking on Yasima towers. I try not to predict. Those of you who watch the channel know, because 9 times out of 10 predictions generally, and I don't just speak for myself. I'm sure we all watch all of the different casters, and generally predictions, I think on the whole, more than 50% don't work out. It might not work out for this one Japanese spearman though. Remember, in the Feudal Age, infantry does attack 33% faster. Instead of the 3-second delay, he attacks on 2.25. I should say he used to attack on a 2.25 because he is lying face down in the dirt, and Hera manages to get the first kill of the game. But wait a second, MbL traps a villager here with fancy footwork and micro and gets his first kill of the game, a much better kill than the one Hera got. And by the way, he's also now discovering that there is a donjon here. Now remember, the donjon does count as a prerequisite to stables and archery ranges, but you still want to get those upgrades that are coming in from the barracks. So I'm not too sure how useful it is that a donjon counts as a prereq for an archery range or a stable, especially if you do decide that you're going to go infantry. Bit of a moonwalking scout situation happening here. And the kill count at the 15-minute mark of the game is 1 apiece as Hera returns home with his army. MbL still searching, still trying to find some damage, but one of his scouts probably should be put out to pasture, probably should be put out on relic duty at this point, because, ooh, he's so close. I'm surprised Hera doesn't want to take this fight. No, he's just trying to lead MbL's army into the welcoming arms of a spearman and 2 archers. No big deal. But MbL peels off the weaker scout. He needs to go a little bit further than that. He's still kind of in danger here. And let's see this high-octane chase in the center of the map. Now it's MbL who's trying to pull his opponent into a bit of a trap situation. Hera looks like he might lose an archer here. Yeah, he does lose an archer, but pays for it with a skirmisher. Spearman, probably not the end of the world. 2 archers for a spearman is a trade that anyone should be happy to take. Very low HP scout over here. Very low HP scout over here. Again, I'm surprised he's not being sent out to explore relics. But that might just be a Hera thing. For now, the Hera thing is to get housed at 40 population. Both players at exactly the same army count, but MbL going up to the next age, the castle age, about 2 minutes behind his opponent. Why? Because he has about 5 villagers more than his opponent, and so added a little bit of eco. And oh, he is going for stone. Towers, castles? What are we going to get to see out of our Japanese? What are we going to get to see out of our Sicilian is the real question. Here we go. Now, whether or not the sergeant will stick around, generally, like I said, you do see a few sergeants here or there, and they are not the quickest units on their feet, because look at that ridiculous base armor of 3-3. Now, remember, they can build and repair donjons, which means the primary goal of our Japanese is about to get lamed, attempted lame. Oh, this is not going to end well for the skirmishers. Now, the sergeant, it isn't exactly the strongest of units, so it is going to take him a while to kill what he can, especially if the units are running away. I believe skirmishers should be running a lot faster than the sergeant. Oh, no, pardon me. Pardon me. We are in the castle age. The stats improve. Donjon's firing multiple arrows. Sergeant's trying to bust into this base as the skirmishers are returning home. So, 4 kills to 3. Not the most eventful and crazy of feudal ages, but we're in castle now, and Hera is doubling down on the sergeant. An interesting choice to double down on a unit that is countered by the unique unit of your opponent, and he does see the castle. Now, he did see the castle. He stopped all production of, or all training of sergeants at the moment. They are continuing to attack this one poor house, not going after the blacksmith, which is probably the juicier target, especially since it's researching forging. Will he be able to get one more skirmisher? It looks like MbL is drawing bears into the base here. But a basic skirmisher, not even elite. Absolutely no upgrades. Probably won't be able to do too much at the moment. Castle attacking the donjon as the donjon attacks the villagers. We'll see if Hera manages to get his first vill kill of the game. And we are seeing samurai. 3 samurai, I mean... Christmas came a little early this year, didn't it? Samurai versus sergeant. Let's see it. There's a night out for our Japanese, whose skirmishers continue to run around, taking a little bit of damage here and there from those sergeants. Samurai does come with a +10 attack bonus against unique units, but remember, the Sicilians, they take a third less bonus damage. So instead of +10, it does +6.66666. Which I'm assuming is rounded to 7. I'm not too sure. You're in the wrong part of town, Mr. Skirmisher. Scout is still alive with 1 HP. It looks like the Japanese knight also has perished. Did he try to run underneath a TC? Hera, by the way, has gone up to 3 TCs. Yeah, it looks like this TC does have 1 kill. This TC has 2 kills. Our Japanese MbL, for the moment, just staying on 1 town center and a castle. What an absolute crazy unit, this Samurai. Let's compare the stats here side by side. 70 HP to 75. Samurai attacks like a knight with a base of a 10. But the armor difference is massive. But look at the attack speed. 1.42. They attack faster than a Mangadai. Whereas the sergeant's probably just the usual 2. Second delay. Yeah, just the usual 2. Sorry, what? Yeah, my bad. And here we go. Light Cav scouts are going to discover the monk. Will they get him before he gets a conversion? They do. MbL with the second town center next to the stone. Is he going to go for more castles so he can train more unique units? Wololo attempted. Here to the north. And MbL backs away. Samurai are chasing. This one Spearman who's leading them straight into a donjon, straight into a monk. A monk that, remember, still does have full faith. Will it work? It does work, and Hera thiefs one of the samurais just at the very nick of time, right at the very edge of that monk's conversion radius. Looks like the first relic of the game will be going to our Japanese. 1, 2, 3. Actually, Maybe 1 relic apiece, maybe 2 relics to 1. No, it's going to be 2 relics to none. The Japanese has already accumulated 1 relic previously. Coolest, one of the coolest non-attack animations where they just check their katanas to make sure they're still sharp as they need to be to absolutely gut their opponents. 3 TCs for our Japanese, who finds himself down 16 villagers. Not great. He's ahead of army count as MbL. He managed to convert 1 sergeant. Hera managed to convert 1 samurai. So the similarities are starting to mount. I don't know that sergeants can take on, even with the 33% reduction in bonus damage. I mean, the 10, if he becomes elite, I think it jumps up to a 12. And so even then, it's still 9 bonus damage done to a unit with that attack speed that is just ridiculous. Everyone talks about HP and armor and attack and bonuses, but one metric that you always want to look at is attack speed, because even if your unit is on the whole weaker, which the samurai is not, the attack speed can make up for it big time. Hera's bringing home his first relic. MbL's getting a 4th town center, realizing that, hey, you're going slow moving infantry. There's probably not a lot of run bys that you're going to attempt right now. And so why don't I just plop down 2 town centers to the back? No real need for protection. I don't see anything really coming at me at the moment. Hera has the gold for Imperial, but doesn't have the food. MbL doesn't have the food or the gold for Imperial. He's now down 23 villagers. Hera also adding a 4th TC to his settlement here at the top left next to the wood. Beautiful location. Anchors the northern portion of his settlement nicely. And the players circling around one another. Pardon me. Hera is definitely going up to Imperial based on the numbers. MbL definitely stuck in the Castle Age for the next little while, but he is getting handcard. He's going to lose a villager, though. As cool as that 1 spearman conversion was, losing a monk. Did I say villager? I meant monk. You used to be one of us, you bastard, they say as they absolutely destroy him. Ooh, if there were 9, I could say the Roman decimation technique, but there were 8. As our samurais engage to the north. Like I said, the speed of their attack is just ridiculous. And they're inside the base. Villagers have to flee. MbL's gotten 3 vill kills so far. Soon to be maybe 4 or even 5, depending on how slow these villagers are and how they clump. Pardon me, 6 at the moment. Another castle going up for MbL. Beautiful King of the Hill castle. What are you? You are just that converted spearman that was attacking the monk earlier. And the samurai are going to find themselves now taking on sergeants. This is a bit of a more even fight. So 8 units apiece. The samurai has like 150 less HP right now. But let's see who takes this battle. Hera has no attack upgrades, just 1 armor upgrade. MbL has at least forging and the armor upgrade. So his units are technically better armored, better upgraded. He's leading them straight into where? The line of sight of the spearman. Hera with his first castle going up on the northern quadrant of his settlement. They're kind of circling one another. They're kind of hanging out here. These 2 armies. Are we just going to build 1 big massive army each and then clash them together, one into the other? I would not complain if that happened, to be fair. Another castle for our Japanese on top of a hill. Like the location. MbL's at 108 population. Hera's at 120. MbL is now down 21 villagers, but he's finally ahead 9 army count. Maybe 8 if you exclude this Feudal Age spearman. And let's see what he can get accomplished here with these samurais. Oh my god, what is that, a hat trick? That town center just killed 3 samurais with 1 volley of arrows. That was gorgeous. Maybe not for MbL, but that was for us gorgeous. As our Sicilian flexes his muscle, moves out into the middle of the map, but nothing here to follow up. No villagers, nothing being built. No presence is being established. This is very much a vagabond army. Hera hits Imperial immediately. First crusade. Let's see if our Japanese can defend this. Of his 20 samurais, 11 of them are here to the north. attacking into a donjon. Hera's getting murder holes. Everyone knows my opinions about murder holes. I don't understand why pro players don't get them. Why Hera seems to be the only pro player to ever get that upgrade. So MbL just kind of hanging out. Donjon drops below, I'm assuming, the 20% threshold, evicts its tenants. And instead of villager kills, it's actually samurais that are dying here. Well, one villager for one samurai. Another samurai falls. Another one falls. Another one. Ooh. Even with ballistics, he manages to survive. Spearman's still around. We'll have seen what happened to the samurai inside that base with picture-in-picture. They surround a donjon. A sergeant next to villagers building a donjon. But again, the castle just keeps getting more and more kills. 3 of them so far. And oh yeah, there's your first crusade that I didn't mention. Hera called a minute or so ago. He's up to 44 sergeants. They are not elite. They have no upgrades, whereas the Japanese samurai is now elite. And was I right about the plus 12? Yeah, plus 12 against unique units. So right now, they're doing 9 bonus damage every 1.4 seconds. 9 extra damage every 1.4 seconds. Remember, games on Age of Empires are played at 1.7 second speed, so 1.4 seconds is actually less than a human second. Which is ridiculous, how fast these units attack. Oh, synchronized attack. Oh, you gotta love it. He peels a few villagers off to the left side as well, realizing he can't really repair this building, not with so many samurais. And what an absolute massacre of villagers here on the left by these samurai. But back in front of the base, so many small little avenues of attack here between the two players. In front of the base is the bigger scuffle, but our Japanese is outnumbered significantly. This is 29 surviving sergeants. Finally does get forging +2 armor. Look at that base armor of 4/4. That 8 attack basically negates the almost entire attack of the samurai. 13. So 5 damage plus another 9, because remember, the Sicilians take a third less bonus damage. So from 12, oh, pardon me, from 12 it goes to 8, not 9. Another samurai lies dead. Another donjon gets a kill. More gold being secured here by our blue Sicilian as he presses into the front with trebuchets. No trebs yet for our Japanese, who needs to hold this position, because if this position falls, all of a sudden your archery range, barracks, and siege workshop are completely exposed. Not that you're training anything out of any of those structures, but more importantly, the castle falls, which is where you are training your unique unit. So you do not want to lose your castles. Synchronized attack is beautiful, whether it's 2 units or 100 units. Sergeants on the prowl. MbL wisely bringing a mangonel forward. Pardon me, 2 mangonels. Should be able to shoot away these sergeants and then give these samurai an opportunity to close. I mean, the volleys are just missing left, right, and center. Luckily, MbL's got this counter unique unit. Let's see how well it fares against the samurais. Just has the smell of maybe one big epic battle here, and I am here for it. MbL may not be here for it. He's just kind of running around, and it looks like he lost his monastery in the forward position. Let's just watch this unfold in front of our very eyes. Both players a little hesitant to engage into one another. I'm not too sure why. So many good attempts for MbL and his mangonels now onagers to get a decent amount of damage, but here we go. They peel off to the north, they peel off to the south, and they are going straight for both army groups. Army group to the northwest has been completely cleared out. Mangonel needs to be careful. It is taking a lot of arrow fire and treb fire. But the entire Sicilian position crumbles. All of the mobile units, meaning anything that's not a structure, are on the retreat. He's got to deal with the donjons, though. Hera didn't just leave 4 donjons for nothing. He knows they're going to be a pain in the ass for his opponent to go around. The Samurai continue their slaughter. What an absolute epic game so far. This is exactly what I wanted to see, and I was worried and hesitant in the beginning to open my big mouth, because when I say I want to see Samurai taking on Sergeants, well, then you know you're going to see Cav Archers and Hauberk Cavaliers. But in this particular case, I'm glad I opened my big mouth. It's not something I say very frequently, but Castle going up should reach the donjon, at least the furthest east, western donjon. The players circle each other yet again. Hera's gone back up to 30. Sergeants. MbL's holding fast at 27. Samurai, right as I say that, adds 6 more to the production queue. He's gone up to 4 castles. 1, 2, 3 to the south, 1 to the north. Castle is shelling away at this donjon. MbL might want to help. Not too sure that 2 or 3 of them are going to be able to get the job done. Sorry, 2 or 3 arrows are going to be enough to get the job done. Samurais are chasing away some constructing sergeants down south, but they are again being led into a bit of a trap. Okay. I mean, the sergeants are going to win this, but the samurai are exacting a heavy toll. This is a very heavily armored unit, and it looks like pretty much an even kill count, which shouldn't really be the case when your unit is surrounded and outnumbered like 3 to 1. But welcome to unique techs and unique features and bonuses. The samurai's plus now 12 because we are in Imperial. He is fully upgraded. Let's take a look at the sergeant's stats as well. Also fully upgraded. So side by side, oh, right as I pull away, the 2 samurais die here. Side by side, we've got a 16 attack to a 15. We've got 4 melee armor to 7. The sergeant also comes with 5 extra HP, moves a little bit slower, but no real attack bonuses, whereas the elite samurai does have a plus 12 unique units. One of the few rare infantry units unique that we've seen in this game that can actually stand toe-to-toe with Conics. I've said this during our live streams, and oh my god, this is a badass force of samurai. I've said this during the live stream that Conics are just super hard to deal with, because if you can counter cavalry, generally the infantry side of it will kill you, and if you counter infantry, generally the mounted aspect of the Conic will kill you. But the samurai gets an attack bonus against both, making it incredibly powerful. Castle is attempted. Hera is attempting to deny it, but at 90%, it should pretty much go up at this point. Is he walled in? I'm assuming he is walled in. Maybe not. Castle up. No murder holes for MbL, who is researching ballistics and chemistry. And Hera is now starting to do Hera things. Side-pronged attacks, multi-pronged attacks with light cavalry, and more importantly with sergeants who can build donjons. He's also trying to get the onagers here, knowing that if he can get this, his slower moving infantry units can move forward with a lot less risk of getting pancaked. Donjon is getting shelled away at. It looks like, actually, let's forget what it looks like. Let's go all across the map and see what's going on. Light cavalry to the rear are attacking a mining camp. Light cavalry inside the base, together with some sergeant friends, have established a bit of a foothold in the rear of MbL's base. But MbL has sent a bunch of samurai. And here we go. 48 minutes into the game, the full frontal by our Japanese player is continuing. He needs to move a little bit faster, but I get it. You're playing against Hera, and you're playing against Hera, who's raiding your base in 3 different locations. Donjon has denied the gold. Donjon has denied the gold. This donjon is going to deny wood, which is why it's under attack. Decent attack rounds there out of MbL. Oh no, but the light cav are closing. 2 of the 4 mangonels fall. The speed of the pack and unpack tells me that MbL does not have Cataperuto yet. That's the upgrade that makes them pack and unpack 4 times faster, and also fire 33% faster. Go the balls of flame. Great balls of fire indeed. And all of the trebs are down. The sergeants, together with their light cavalry allies, have absolutely destroyed MbL's center position. What looked like a sure push all of a sudden evaporates. because Hera's just pulling MbL into multiple different directions, denying him his precious resources. And now the samurais are on the retreat. He's going up to 27, 28 of them. Not exactly a cheap or expensive unit. 50 food, 30 gold, kind of middle of the road for an infantry unit. A little bit more expensive on the food, a little bit cheaper on the, a little bit more expensive on the gold, a little bit cheaper on the food. And Hera now shoves in his light cavalry, one of their upgrades, fully upgraded armor-wise. These are two civilizations that do not get hussars, which means Hera's raiding is going to have to rely exclusively on light cavalry units who sneak in between these houses, come across a very idyllic peacenik farming community, move past it, and are going straight for... Never mind, they're going after the town center villagers. Interesting that you didn't go after the more exposed lumberjacks, but never mind. He carves up his army into two groups, does exactly that. To the south, more light cavalry are coming. Wow, the Treb got walled in. Okay, I think that Treb is pretty safe for now. To the south, 3 donjons are wreaking havoc on the economy of our Japanese, who is down to 82 villagers compared to 144. Hera is ahead 64 villagers right now. That's just not sustainable. MbL needs to get critical damage done. And to be fair, like I said, his samurai are taking the better fights, but there's not enough of them, and not enough of them clogged up into one big death ball that can contest. Why? Because Hera is just all over the place. This is what I often wonder about pro players when they play against Hera. You know that if you're going to push out against him, he's going to push back into you even harder. And so knowing that, or even suspecting that, I really am curious. Players like MbL who have a very aggressive stance don't really wall in their bases well enough to take care of Hera's counterattack. And just like that, MbL has had enough. His base has been gutted, the rear destroyed. 2 of the 3 invading donjons have fallen, but again, you've spent so much time. You sent 6 of your 14 samurai. Basically, almost half your army is there to the south. Okay, blacksmith getting attacked by light cavalry. A donjon being built right in the middle of all of this. I'm assuming once he builds it here, he's going to build it maybe here. A second one, super close. Hera is also trying to run into this farming community. And again, like I said, these are 2 civs that do not get hussars. And so light cavalry is pretty much as good as it's going to get. Although for the Japanese, they are missing the last armor upgrade for their cavalry. So not exactly the greatest of light cavalry options. You got 1 skirmisher trained and left inside the archery range. No real point in that unit coming out. And our Sicilian somehow manages to beat out the stronger unit with sheer volume. I mean, every time MbL took a fight with 7, 8 sergeants, he was going up against 12, 15 or more. Pardon me. Every time he tried to take a fight with a samurai, he was taking on clumps, about 50 to 70% bigger clumps of sergeants. And ultimately, the pivot to the light cav allowed him to enter into the base through all these various Swiss cheese holes and various locations where the donjon is busted in already. I love that he focused a little bit here to take down the palisade just so he can have easy access left and right side of those train tracks. And now he's also constructing that donjon there. Like I said, probably next one over here, although it does not have the stone for it. What an absolute epic game. MbL unfortunately losing way too many villagers in the last, I would say, what, 10, 15 minutes of the game? Yeah, look at the vill kill count, 93 to 37. So he did a great job killing Hera's villagers. Unfortunately, he lost a lot more villagers than Hera did. And total kill count, wow, after 54 minutes, what is that? 23 kill difference is like 6% difference in kill count. After 54 minutes, crazy samurai to sergeant, light cap to skirmisher, mango to Treb. And tell me he got Cataperuto. No, he did not get Cataperuto. And Hera, for his part, we saw the first crusade. We didn't see anything after that. But wow, when your 3rd most trained unit is the trebuchet, you know you've gone down a full rabbit hole for one unit. And you are just absolutely trying to make it work. And in this case, it does. Let's take a look at the economies. Wow. 18,000 resources difference here for our Sicilian, who only got 2 to 3 relics. But at the end of the day, that only added about 1,000 extra gold. militarily. 10 conversions to 2, raisings basically identical. We saw the kill counts, but what an absolute epic game. You know, sometimes you just get to see what you want to see, and Christmas came early. Like I said, Sergeants taking on Samurai is pretty damn badass, especially since you remember this unit takes a lot less bonus damage than any other unit would take, any other unique unit, I should say. And where even are the Samurais? What am I missing here? Where are these 14 units? Are they all down south? No, this is like half of the forest. This is 6. Where are the other 8? Oh, okay, they're here clumped up and streaming in between these houses. Interesting. So I thought we were going to get to see Cav Archers. I thought in the recesses of my mind, I didn't express it, that I thought we were going to get to see Yasima Towers. That would have been cool, trying to take on Donjons. Instead, we saw Samurai taking on Sergeants, which is just absolutely fantastic. And the Samurai thing is the better unit in that regard. But unfortunately, trade after trade after trade, MbL just didn't have the proper numbers and didn't take the proper engagement. But holy moly, that's a lot of dead blue bodies on the dance floor. What an epic, epic game. Hera withstands any attempt of MbL's to push out, smothers him like a big bear Sicilian hug, pushes down the center with a whole bunch of, how many Donjons did he have at the end of the day? 16 Donjons. Remember, these guys can train Sergeants. So he technically can train 16 Sergeants at a time. And Sergeants themselves are, I think, a little bit more expensive. I think the Samurai is 30 gold, the Sergeant is 35, and also does cost 60 food instead of the 50 that a Samurai costs. So even though it's more expensive, at the end of the day, he has a lot more of them. Where's the army high? 66 to 58. Yeah, even just the 8 units. Actually, no, pardon me. That's the other way around. Total armies, 308 to 254. So he did have 54 bigger army than his opponent. And by the way, I forgot to point out that even though there was an 18,000 difference, Hera does take all 4 of the resources. Wow, what a fun game. I'm glad we got to see it. And here's my question. When you play against Hera, if you're a high Elo player and you've either played against him before or you know of him, which I'm assuming everybody does, you know that when you attack into Hera, your base, you better have your house in order. You better have it walled off, because he's going to counterattack right into the center of your base and absolutely eviscerate your villager count, which is exactly what happened here with 93 kills to 37. Why don't you stonewall? Why don't you wall in a bit better? It always kind of is bonkers to me that when players play against Hera and they are doing a very strong push, just like happened here, by the way, MbL had an incredibly strong push right up until the moment that Hera lashed out and destroyed all those trebuchets and absolutely ended the momentum. And since then, it's been a few minutes of just nonstop Sicilian aggression. But if you know that your opponent is Hera and you're the one pressing in, you know he's going to come in from the sides. You know he's going to do multi-pronged attacks. So why don't you wall in? Why don't you put outposts? Why don't you try to stop it from happening? Is it just because they're microing so crazy? The peak APM for Hera, literally 6 minutes ago, and about 14 minutes ago for our Japanese and orange MbL. But Hera, again, does what he does best. When you press into him, he just presses right back. The back of the Japanese base is a complete ghost town. He's down to 83 villagers to 144. He's down 61 villagers and triple the army count our Sicilian has. And unfortunately, even though the Samurai, I think, is the better unit, it falls in a number of different engagements to the Sergeant, who somehow always managed to outnumber it. And with that outnumbering, Hera manages to push back one of the coolest unique units in the game. I'm looking at this badass unit with the horned helmet, the katana that he checks for sharpening to make sure he can slice through his opponent. Hera takes the W, but GG in a super fun infantry battle to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.